Hello, and a warm welcome to our Stocks to Watch series, where we help investors pick promising stocks and build robust portfolios. I am Munir Barazi, your business analyst and host. And joining me today is James Sykes, the CEO and director of Baselode Energy, a uranium exploration company which controls 100% of approximately 250,000 hectares for exploration in the Athabasca Basin area in northern Saskatchewan, Canada. The company is publicly traded on the TSX Venture Exchange as FIND and on the OTCQB as BSENF. Hello, James. It's good to have you with us today.
Hi, Monir. Very happy to be here.
You're quite welcome. Let's start by hearing about the story behind Baselode Energy. What inspired the founders to establish the company?
The founders behind the company knew that uranium was going to take off. They were looking to get into uranium and start a uranium vehicle in 2019. And that was earlier than a lot of other companies who have recently come into space. So credit to those guys. But then they were looking for the right guy to run the company. And my name kept coming across their desk. Rightfully so, as I have had a number of successes throughout my career. I've been in the Athabasca Basin exploring for uranium since 2006. I've been part of over 550 million pounds of uranium discovery. That's directly and indirectly. So I don't think there's anybody else who has that sort of credentials to their name. And more importantly, though, is I was the chief geologist behind NextGen Energy's Arrow discovery, which remains the world's largest undeveloped uranium deposit. So very, very exciting. And it was actually from Arrow that I started to develop a working thesis that I brought over to Baselode. So when the guys behind Baselode reached out to me, we hit it off immediately. We had a lot of great synergies, really pulled things together, and the rest is all history now. Baselode is what it is.
Sounds wonderful. James, I'm aching to ask you about the pictures behind you. Can you tell us a bit more about them and the link to what you're doing now?
Yeah, for sure. Number one, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I can't deny that.
I can tell.
Yeah. But I look at the images behind me every day when I walk in this office, and I try to imagine, how are we going to build these? We talk about simple rocket ships here on Earth, but eventually as our society continues to grow and continue to develop, we look at more sophisticated technology. And I look at these things behind me and just figure, where are we going to get all the metals for this? Where are we going to get these power sources for this? And then the answer is simple. We have to extract more. Energy source, nuclear energy is a great source. You can fly ships with nuclear energy. We've got nuclear energy in submarines. Put them in the air. There's a lot of potential for what nuclear energy can do.
Fascinating. Tell us more about your portfolio of projects in the Athabasca Basin. How much progress have you made in exploring them, and what does the data show thus far?
We've got about 250,000 hectares of land outside of the Athabasca Basin itself. To put a little bit of context on that, the Athabasca Basin is a sandstone basin. Just picture a sink, really, and that sink is filled with water and sand. Outside of that sink, though, is what we would call basement rocks. There's no water involved in that, so it's a pretty simplistic scenario. So after the Arrow discovery, my brain started, the gears started turning in my brain, and I came up with an idea, and that was the idea that really worked well for Baselode. So we started looking at outside of the Athabasca Basin itself and looking in the basement rocks, because we want to discover something that is open pittable. And there's a layer of glacial overburden that resides on top of the basement rock, so you can't image the rocks directly with your eyes. You need to rely on geophysics, and that's basically what we do. So we've acquired four great projects that are all along structural corridors that we believe have the ability to host uranium. Our projects are Bear, Catharsis, Hook, and Shadow. We have a uranium deposit that we discovered that starts at just shallower than 30 meters beneath the surface on our Hook project. We call that deposit Accio. And Accio has taken most of our attention since its discovery in September 2021, rightfully so, because it is a near surface high-grade uranium deposit. It's exactly what we're after. So as we continue to develop Accio, we don't want to put the rest of the projects on hold. We're aggressive explorers. We want to discover more deposits. Obviously, it's like eating Pringles. You can't just stop at one. you find one deposit, there's no reason to stop there. Let's keep going and find more. So we've flown all of the geophysics on all of our projects. And now with the raise that we've recently completed, we're looking to diamond drill each of those projects next year in 2024.
That's very encouraging indeed. And I would like to highlight that open pit exploration is a very low cost method for our viewers. What are the next steps on those projects? Do you have sufficient liquidity to continue with your exploration efforts?
We just recently raised $10.7 million in flow through, and absolutely wonderful. So now with the flow through that we had remaining from this year, we have an $11.5 million exploration budget next year. That's one of the largest budgets in the Athabascan for 2024. We're very happy with that. And we plan to explore all 4 of our projects moving forward next year. Some of the projects have never been drilled, so we're excited to be the first company to be able to do those. Most of our attention will go on our Akio deposit, though. As we've already completed 2 drill seasons, I believe we're close to getting a mineral resource estimate completed by the end of next year. More drilling will tell. We've recently discovered a second near surface zone at Akio. So now we've got 2 pods that start near surface, and the system keeps growing and it keeps throwing new, not new variables, but we keep discovering more mineralization, and it's absolutely encouraging now that we're seeing more depth potential as well. And the structure and alteration of the system just continue at depth for at least 200 meters and looks like it doesn't give up at all, that we think there's a lot of depth potential at Akio. So that will, like I said, will take most of our budget for next year. We do want to get to that mineral resource estimate on Akio by the end of next year, Q4 2024, and that will be the biggest push. But we're also looking to make other discoveries on our other projects, as we do think that there is potential for that.
So there is potential for significant discoveries and expansion. Indeed. My last question, what catalysts should investors pay attention to, and why should they consider Baselode Energy as a stock to watch?
Catalysts are actually quite numerous. We completed a drill program in this summer. The results are still not all of the results are not out yet. We still have about 20 drill holes remaining. Most of those drill holes do have the highest radioactivity results that we had encountered this season. And there's definitely some shallow mineralization based on the radioactivity results. So we will be continuously putting out those news until the end of the year. We'll have a summary of the year, insight into next year. And as I mentioned, with $11.5 million budget next year, we will continue exploring aggressively. We'll be starting winter drilling at our Catharsis project, but then we'll continue in the summer with more Akio drilling, hook exploration drilling, shadow exploration drilling, and bear exploration drilling. So quite a bit to come next year and for the remainder of this year. I think we've proven ourselves. I think we have done a very good job of proving that we do what we do, and we do it well. And we're not just a company who is out there to throw money around, put some drill holes in the ground. We are legit in what we want to do. We want to find uranium. We want to contribute to nuclear power moving forward. And we believe that our idea, what we call Athabasca 2.0, looking for these open pit style deposits, is the way to go. As you mentioned, they are low cost, very effective, easier to permit, easier to move forward in every regards. Mill is already down the road from us, so we think that there's a potential for toll milling, and that everything just makes sense with these open pit style of deposits up in this area, as their potential low OPEX, low CapEx, and that really moves us forward. So as I said earlier, we don't want to make a discovery. We want to discover a mine. And that's how our mindset is. And I think that's our main differentiator from everybody else. And I do believe that is why investors should look into Baselode preferentially over other companies. We've proven ourselves. We have a great resource that we're going to continue to build upon. We've got exploration projects that will hopefully continue to yield results as we drill them out next year. So very active, fully funded, low dilution. I think we're even at a low share price, low market cap, and we've got nothing but upward potential. Uranium market's taking off. Uranium prices hit $70 a pound. That's not even close to the top. We all believe that that's going to go higher. So as that price of uranium continues to move higher, we think that all as per the last uranium cycle in 2005, 2007, as the uranium price moved up, all boats rose with the tide. So as the price of uranium moves up, we do believe that baseload will also appreciate on that price, that uranium spot price movement.
Many positive and encouraging factors indeed, and that's a very healthy mindset to have. James Sykes, the CEO and director of Baselode Energy, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing those insights. We look forward to hearing from you again very soon.
Thanks a million, Munir. It's been a pleasure.